There are 24 hours in every single day. It doesn't matter how old you are, whether you are male or female, whether you are rich or poor. Everybody gets exactly the same 24 hours every day. But here is my question to you. Which one of those 24 hours do you think is the most important hour of the day? To me, it's easy. Straight away, I would say the most important hour of my day is the first 60 minutes after I get out of bed in the morning. And so this video is about that hour. I want to share with you today my morning routine on the carnivore diet. You might be thinking, what's that got to do with carnivore? Well, at the end of the video, I'm going to explain to you exactly why I think it has everything to do with carnivore. But that's a little bit later on. But first I wanted to share with you my first 60 minutes of the day. I don't know whether you've ever thought about this, but how do you wake up in the morning? Those first moments of awareness when you wake up and your eyes slowly open and you come into that state of awareness that it is actually morning. I think the first thing I do when I wake up in those first few moments of awareness I'm talking about is that I begin to think about my day and I quickly call to mind anything that might be happening on this particular day. And I want to work out in my mind at that point, is this going to be a good day or a bad day? Actually, there's no such thing as a good day or a bad day. All there is a day. We're all given the same day. What value we put on it is up to us. Whether we label it good or bad, that's our part of the equation, but we are simply given a day. And did you know every day is a gift? Every day is a precious gift that you are given only once. It's never going to be given again. It is priceless and precious, and what you do with that day matters immensely. So what sort of a day is it going to be? Well, the way I used to look at this was I would wait until I got up and I got into my day and I worked out what circumstances were coming my way, and then I would decide whether or not it was a good or a bad day. You see, I think now that's far too late in the piece to make that decision. I want to make that decision the moment I wake up, even before I get out of bed. I lay there in bed when I wake up in the mornings. And I say to myself something like this: this is a good day. Today I'm going to live life to the full. Today I'm going to love my family. Today I'm going to see good in every person that I speak to today. Today I choose joy. Today I choose happiness. Today my life is going to be filled with joy. You see, I make that decision right up front, even before I get out of bed. All of that has been resolved before I step over the side of the bed. So then I get up out of bed, and now I've got these 60 minutes that I've already told you that, in my opinion, they are the most important minutes of the day. Those first 60 minutes, that first 1 hour. Now I divide that hour up into 4 time slots of approximately 15 minutes each. In my first 15 minutes, I get out into our lounge room where we've got some very basic gym equipment, and I get onto the rebounder, which is a bouncing mat such as you see here, and I usually put on a YouTube video with some zappy music and some instructor to guide me through a little bit of a workout. But I get on there and I just jump, I go full bore, I work up a sweat, I get my heart rate pumping, and I get that really good aerobic workout first thing in the morning. I'm not talking anything crazy here. I'm talking 12, 15 minutes of bouncing on the rebounder when I first get up in the morning. You see, if I do it then, I won't make any more excuses in the rest of the day. I've got it out of the way first thing in the morning. On the alternate mornings to rebounding, I might lift some weights, and we've got a very basic set of dumbbells in our lounge room, and I will lift some weights every which way I can to try and get that resistance training into me before I start the day. So that's the first 15 minutes of the day. I get into some exercise and I get my heart rate up, and I really cut loose and go for it in a good aerobic workout or workout with the weights. That's my first 15 minutes. The second 15 minutes is quite different. I like to get outside if I can. Now, I can do that if it's not too cold, but here in Australia, we have just finished our winter and spring has started just this last week. So I am very hopeful of some warmer weather and sunshine. But I like to get outside in the morning and take a seat on our veranda. We've got this beautiful veranda out front where we can sit, and we have a beautiful view right across the Tumuk Valley. We're very blessed to live where we do, and I've got some comfortable chairs there, so I take a seat out front on the veranda. And as I sit there, I just take a few moments of quiet, and I tune in to what's happening around me. I try to engage as many of my senses as I can. I look around. What can I see? And then I focus on my hearing. What can I hear? What birds can I hear today? What are the sounds that are coming wafting on the breeze? What do I feel today? What aroma is in the air today? What I try to do at this point is to engage as many of my senses as I can. I look around at what I can see. I listen and tune my ears to what I can hear. I cast my eyes upward and I look at the sky. I listen to the birds. I feel the breeze. I experience the new day in its freshness, in its glory, in its beauty. You see, what I'm trying to do in those moments is to become fully engaged in that wonderful, joyful, God-given present moment. I try to forget about all the things that happened yesterday, and I don't even want to think about what's happening today or all of the concerns for tomorrow. At that moment, I am fully engaged in what is happening right now. It's called mindfulness, becoming mindful of what is around you. And then after a few moments of becoming aware of my surroundings, I then simply lean back in my chair and close my eyes. And I begin to focus all of my attention upon my breath. And I sit there and I take a series of very long, slow, deep breaths. I breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth. And I do that a number of times. Now, it's such a simple thing, paying attention to your breath, but I have to tell you, it has incredible power. And if you've never tried it, I encourage you to do so, because it can just change your whole focus. As you begin to simply focus on your breathing, all of the negativity tends to lift off you, and you feel so alive and so engaged in the present moment. Then after several moments of focusing on my breath, I then begin to call consciously to mind all of the things that I am thankful for, all of the blessings in my life, and I call them to mind very deliberately. And what I do is I speak them out verbally, and I begin to say things like, I am thankful for my life. I'm thankful for my health. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for my children. I'm thankful for the Carnivore Diet that has brought so much newness and vitality into my life. I'm thankful for the gift of a new day. And this is what I do. I call to mind all of the things I'm thankful for, and I speak them out. Did you know that gratitude, expressing gratitude, totally refocuses your mind? Gratitude changes your perspective on things. You just begin to see things differently as you forget about all the things you're complaining about and you focus all of your attention on what you are thankful for. So I spend some time just speaking out loud, verbalizing all of the things I can think of that I am thankful for, and I do that for several minutes. Then after that period of gratitude, I then call to mind what are the issues that I'm concerned about at the moment. I generally find that on any given day there are perhaps 2 or 3 issues that are uppermost in my mind, things that I am concerned about. I'm thinking of things like the health of a loved one, some issue one of my kids might be going through, or a financial need that I'm anxious and worried about. But any issue that is occupying my thoughts and that I am concerned about, and then I take those issues one at a time. And what I do is to call that issue into mind, and I focus on it for a moment. But then I begin to use my imagination. I think our imagination is perhaps the greatest gift that God ever put into our bodies when He created us. That ability to see things that don't yet exist as if they do exist. And so I begin to imagine each of these issues in turn being beautifully, wonderfully, totally resolved. I play that out in my mind. What would that look like? How would that movie tape play in my mind? Can I play it out and get a picture of that issue being resolved? I go even a step further on this. I begin to imagine the emotion that I would feel if I was in that situation. And I invite those emotions into my imagination. And so it becomes like a full colour movie with sounds and lights and emotions and feelings that I am observing. And I enjoy that picture for several moments. And then when I'm ready, what I do is that I hold my hands out, something like this. And I imagine that I'm holding that issue. And then I simply lift it. I lift it up and I let it go. I release it to God above, the one that I trust implicitly. I let it go and I entrust it to Him. He is the one who is bigger and greater and more powerful than I am. He is the one that said He would be my helper and my guide through life. I release it to Him. And as I do that, I very often find it's like almost a physical weight that just lifts off my shoulders. And once I've released it and let it go, I make a decision that I'm not going to worry about that thing today. I'm not going to stress about it. I'm not going to let anxiety into my life because I've released it to someone bigger than I let it go. I find that to be one of the most liberating and powerful exercises of my morning each day. So that's the second stage of my morning. It's a time of being still, a time of mindfulness, a time of breathing, a time of gratitude, and a time of letting go, all in the space of about 15 minutes. My third segment of the morning is when I take my Bible out and I begin to read. I have to confess to you folks that I do love the scriptures. I find the scriptures to be full of wisdom, to be full of inspiration, to be full of encouragement, to be full of practical guidance and direction on this path of life that I'm on. I love the scriptures and I love to open the scriptures and to read and to let it soak into my being. You see, the scriptures are full of stories. And what I love to do when I'm reading the Bible and I'm reading one of the great stories in the Bible, I like to put myself in the story. And I like to imagine that I was actually there when this happened and engage in it as fully as I can with all of my senses again. And I find that a very powerful way to read the Bible and to make it come alive to myself. But I make that part of every morning, just 15 minutes of reading the scriptures. And for me, it is transformational. So then I come to my final 15 minutes of that first hour of my day. And in this 15 minutes, what I do is to pick up my journal, just an old battered notebook and a pen, and I begin to write. What do I write? Well, I just write anything. I write down any insights that I've received from my scripture reading that day. I write any thoughts and feelings that I have. I write down my concerns. I write down what's happening in my life right now and what I think about that and how I feel about that. In the early days of Carnivore, the only thing I used to write down was my weight. But now I've forgotten about my weight and I focus just on my health, on what's happening in my body, what's happening in my mind, what's happening in my heart, and I write those things down. And I find that far more satisfying and rewarding than simply writing down a number that I saw on the scales that morning. So that fills up my first 60 minutes of the day. I come back inside, I go straight to the kitchen, get the fry pan out, I cook myself up a beautiful feed of egg and bacon and make some coffee, and I have breakfast and I'm ready to start my day. So then I want to come back to that question that I posed at the beginning. What's any of this got to do with eating meat on the carnivore diet? Well, I think it's got everything to do with it. Let me explain. When I started carnivore, I saw it simply as a diet plan. I wanted to lose weight and I wanted to get my blood pressure down that had been very high for many years. And I thought maybe this diet could help me lose weight and get my blood pressure down. Well, it certainly did both of those things. I lost a dramatic amount of weight over 5 months now, and my blood pressure returned to normal in the space of just 4 weeks on carnivore. But it didn't stop there. I discovered, like many of you have also, that a whole lot of other things in my life suddenly started to get better. So many other physical issues just seemed to come right on carnivore, and I've documented these in previous videos. Carnivore starts with your body but somehow transcends into the mind, into the real essence of who you are as a human person. And I found that I suddenly had a new sense of clarity in my life, a mental clarity. I could see things much more clearly than I could before. I saw the world differently, I saw food differently, I saw people differently. Not only did I have a new sense of clarity, but I also had a wonderful new sense of calm. I wasn't ruffled and troubled by things like I once was. I had this calmness and this quiet confidence in life. I felt a much more peaceful and orderly existence. I felt that my whole life had become far more simple than it once was. And what I'm starting to realise now, after several months on carnivore, is that carnivore has a power not only to change your physical health, but it has a power to transform the whole of your being. I want that. And I want it for you. The reason I started this YouTube channel in the first place was that I wanted to be a voice inspiring people to start this journey, because I came to see that this has enormous power, not just to bring weight loss and physical healing, but it brings emotional and mental healing. Even mental illness can be reversed on the carnivore diet. I began to see this can transform people. So with all my heart, what I'm saying here is that I want to see your life totally transformed. Not just physical things to do with your weight and your physical health, but to do with what goes on in your head, to give you mental clarity, to give you energy, to give you a new sense of calm, to bring a total life transformation to you. And if I can be a small part in that, then that will make my whole day. I'm talking to you. I am here for you. I want to connect with you and to see you make this journey all the way through. I want to inspire you today. Look, if you've got a way that you have found that you like to start the day, I would love to hear it. Please write in the comments how you start each day. But I'd love to hear. I do read every comment and I do undertake to reply to every comment. So leave a comment below. And also I invite you to join our Facebook group, the Carnivore Pensioner, where we can share stories and support one another. If you missed my recent video where I ran through 4 totally unexpected benefits that carnivore brought into my life, I will leave a link to it above. I am so pleased that you have watched this video all the way to the end. Well done. I would love it if you would put a like on this video, and if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, I would love to say thank you for watching this video all the way through. I will see you on the next video, and until then, keep telling your story.